And I'll tell you guys since we're all friends. Every character I write has a piece of me in them. Hi, I'm Lee Bardugo. You're listening to the GrishaCast.
Welcome to GrishaCast, episode 116. In this episode, we will be discussing the short story, The Demon in the Wood. This is your host, Eric.
And I'm Terry from Nashville, Tennessee. This is your podcast for all things Grishaverse.
A world created by the OG shadow summoner herself, Lee Bardugo. Moi saviani, casters.
Hi.
We have some listener cities.
We do. First of all, we're going to say hello and thank you to those listeners in Nagasaki, Japan.
Woo! Thank you. And then we're moving on to Boise, Idaho.
Whoa.
We love you all.
Thank you.
Now, before we get going, as we have been doing the past couple episodes, we've had these wonderful little interviews with the artist of the upcoming album, Sinner and Saints. So, with no further ado, I would like to let us all listen to the interview I had with Giorgia regarding the Zoya song the Zoya inspired song. Thank you. So, let's listen. Well, we all are very much looking forward to Sinner and Saints coming out June 10th, which is an incredible album that is being produced and made by Grishaverse fans around the world. And as we have been doing with the past couple episodes, we've been talking to some of the artists, which is an incredible experience. So I would like to leave for no further ado and introduce you all to Giorgia. Hi.
Hi.
So, we are so excited to have you here. And first off, how did you get introduced to the Grishaverse?
I actually first saw the Netflix series, like I saw it on Netflix, and then I realized, oh, this is a book. I have to read the book first. So I started reading Shadow and Bone. I did enjoy it, but wasn't my favorite of those. And then when I got to Six of Crows, I was like, oh my God, I love this. So yeah, it was actually through Netflix.
That's incredible. That's awesome. I'm really glad that that's how you entered. It's interesting because like the show doesn't show a lot of Zoya, even though
Yeah.
I know it's coming though. We do. Have you read the whole series?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah. So we know there's more for Zoya, so we're just hanging in there. And the reason I bring that up is because you wrote a beautiful song that is called Dragon's Lair, which is about Zoya. And all we have is a little teaser for everybody to hear. And this is all I've heard, but I love it. So let's real quickly listen to our teaser.
Chilling my heart from falling apart. Well, flowers to mourn, it's been getting too hard. So light the spark out of this darkness into the making light the heart. Open my heart to this world falling apart, to the making within that's been there from the start.
That is gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So, what inspired you to write about Zoya in this song?
So we were distributing characters when we planned the album, and I picked Zoya because I did already like her, and I knew that King of Scars and Rule of Wolves was about her, and nobody had picked her yet. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go with a badass queen song. But then I realized I haven't read King of Scars yet, so I read that first, like in a speed run. And yeah, now the song is heavily Rule of Wolves based.
Yeah.
But after reading that, I loved her so much. Like it all came right away.
I get it. Her character arc is amazing to follow and watch, especially throughout that series. And I loved her in Shadow and Bone specifically because I always love a villain and things like, and I loved her attitude, and I thought, yeah, she's being mean to our like main character. However, I just felt like there was something more there. Like, I love Mean Girls, so come on, I'm gonna definitely
Yeah.
fall for Zoya. But she is just a really cool character. So I love that you picked her. And I think it's she's such a strong character. She's my absolute favorite, and I'm an ethereal alki just like her. That's what I say, at least. I'm a squaller. So, what would you be if you could pick what type of Grisha? Do you have a preference or what you would like?
I did think about it, but this is actually pretty hard to me because it's not you
It-
don't have like the classic elements type of stuff,
Yeah,
So
it's hard. You kind of have to base it off of, I think, who you're like, what you enjoy. Like, I mean, that's how I think I decided. Definitely, like, I love Zoya, and I love the color blue, so they wear the keftas blue. So you know what? You're gonna be an ethereal Kai Squaller with me. How about that?
okay.
Perfect. So we can go and put our Zoya fabulousness out into the world together.
I'm gonna go with fire, maybe.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
What were they? Inferni?
Yeah, you got it.
That's maybe something. I'm always drawn to fire, so
Well, there you go. And you know what? It ties in with the dragon. So
yeah, true.
so how can fans follow you? Do we have like, are you on social media?
I'm on mostly Instagram. Like Instagram is my main platform.
Okay.
My handle is Giorgia, just how you saw my name.
Yeah.
.music with 2 C's.
Yes, and everybody watching on YouTube will be able to see that right on the screen now. However, for those podcast listeners, make sure to jot that down. Well, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, and we are so looking forward to this album. We cannot wait. So, and hopefully, maybe you'll come back and be a guest, and we can like talk more about the Grishaverse and some Zoya stuff. Sound good?
Sure, I would love that. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, well, that was so much fun. And sorry about all my little word slippage. Yeah. How are you, Terry?
I'm good. I can't wait to hear all of those songs.
I know. They really and those are just a couple of the artists that we've had. So I mean, like, it's gonna be a pretty big album. So first off, to our listeners, letting y'all know, if you guys are just wondering why maybe things sound a little different, Terry and I are 2 different places.
Yeah, isn't technology crazy?
It is. This is like, it's a live Zoom call for us right now. But hey,
It is, in this economy, we do what we got to do.
true. Absolutely. So,
I did want to tell you that we were talking about the RuPaul Winners episode, and I did start watching that.
good.
And I'm caught up.
Okay, I'm not. So I've only watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
So what do you think? Are you excited? Happy?
I mean, I guess all tea, all shade. I never agree with the winners. I won't say never, but I typically don't agree with the winners of RuPaul's Drag Race. I usually end up liking the ones that don't win.
Right.
So, not the best season ever, but I love Mo. Like, I freaking love Mo. So I'm happy about that. And I love Tuck. So
yes.
Okay. Those are the ones I'm rooting for.
Okay. Who is Mo? Which one? Oh.
Formerly known as Monique Hart.
Oh. Okay. Gotcha.
They wanted a gender, like a while back, they changed it to Mo because they wanted a gender neutral name.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, I love it, and Jinx Monsoon is so funny to me. She cracked me up. She did phenomenal in that Snatch game, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
of course.
come on, that Judy Garland was incredible, and the fact that she brought it back to like when she had that, I think I can't remember, it was a veteran on. She made that joke about him.
Yes, David. Yeah.
That was so funny. That was amazing.
Oh no, she's like the queen of Snatch Game. I mean, there's no denying that.
Well, she's a heavy hitter. Ooh, heavy hitter. I almost tipped over my tea, which anyways, cute little cup, by the way, for those of you.
Aw.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited because also, as you know, I love Raja a lot, even though she's old school, and I'm glad that she's on. However, I was not a fan of her outfit that she wore in the first like episodes, like Maxi Challenge, like when they were doing that musical number.
hmm
She wore an outfit that like, oh my gosh, I was not a fan of. It didn't fit her well, but I love her, and everything else she's done so far is really cool, and I just love her. I'm excited. I think it's a neat idea, and I just never thought they would actually do it.
I like that the queens won't be eliminated, so you can continue to watch your favorite queens the whole season. So because a lot of my favorite ones get knocked out fairly quickly because I guess my taste in queens is different. But I'm happy that they won't get kicked off so that we can watch them the whole season. And I have also finished the one I was telling you about. It's UK versus the world on
Oh.
WoW. Yeah.
Oh, and that just reminded me. So, like, I mean, were you surprised about the surprise guest on there? The winner from Britain? Yeah.
Yeah, she looks a little different.
I love her.
She got a little work done, got a little filler.
There's a lot. Oh my gosh, Jinx Monsoon, her without not in drag. There's a lot of work done there. Whew.
Yeah, I mean it happens. And I mean even the UK queen was saying, you know, once you get money, your drag is better. So I think that's just par for the course.
Yeah. Well, they look phenomenal, and I love it. And I think it's a brilliant season. I think it's also smart that they're not eliminating any of the queens because I mean they're winners. So that way there is nobody like really getting, I mean, no one's like, I don't know. I just think if someone like if they did it the regular way and people were actually like, sashaying away, if they're the winner of one season, I mean, people would kind of like look down or I don't know, have an opportunity to be more mean. And I think it's a smart way to do it. The badges. So,
Well, yeah, the badges came from like the UK season because they did that a lot in there. So, but I think the drag races have changed a lot too. They used to be so full of shade. They used to
mhm.
throw shade all the time. And the farther we go, everybody's being nicer, which I don't know if I'm a fan or not. I
Agreed.
enjoyed the shade.
Agreed. The Untucks used to be like, oh my gosh, so like dramatic and so good. And you're right. I mean, there's just not a lot of. I think it's because people are now overly producing themselves now when they go on the show. They're being like really prepared, or I don't know. Some of it just seems so fake.
I think a lot of them are afraid of backlash. They did talk about that in one of the episodes I watched recently.
Yeah.
I think it was UK versus the world where they talked about how you have to be prepared and be careful with what you say because it will ruin your career if you say the wrong thing while you're on the show. So I
True.
think that has a lot to do with it.
True. However, I always do like. I mean, it's interesting. People do get up, and Drag Race fans are. I don't know what they do, but apparently, like they can be really, really, really mean. And, whew, goodness.
Yeah, I think people get really attached to a certain queen. So if anything is thrown at that queen's way, they throw knives.
They do. And just because we see the drag queens throwing shade to one another does not mean that we can, because I'm sorry.
No.
But anyways, obviously we should start a drag race podcast too. But our listeners love everything that we do. So of course they know exactly what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, because also, what month is it?
Our favorite month. Well, it's Pride
Yes.
Month. So happy.
It's Pride Month.
Yay! And it is, it's so awesome. We love Pride Month, and we are we're just so happy to be here another year. It's not our birthday, but it's neat to be able to celebrate it. And yeah, so make sure, I'll just go ahead and spoil this for everybody. Next week, tune in because we're going to have a very special Pride Fantastic episode. We're going to be, discussing everything LGBT, queer regarding the Grishaverse. And we ain't going to we're going to bring out everything. So
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. It's
All the rainbows, all the glitter.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fantastic. And my headpiece is pretty fantastic. And this is just the first episode this month. For those of you that can't see.
Oh yeah, we need to post some caftan pictures.
Yes, we do.
I'll send you a caftan picture so you can put it up on social media.
Yeah.
On Insta.
I bet everybody would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't believe that we are about to be covering the very last bit of Grishaverse stuff that we have right now. And so you have you finished The Demon in the Wood, so you are officially done. And that's awesome. What a cool journey that I've been on with you.
You've been on this entire journey with me.
And I think I've done really well with not spoiling too much.
You have.
Yes, I definitely have. So now, just letting y'all know, hats are off. We've gotten through it all. So, we are not going to be able to spoil anything. So we can say whatever we want now.
Yep. So, from here on out, we're talking about everything.
We will. So this is actually what I'm really excited about. This is the point, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So anyways, before we get started, is everything else going well for you? World-wise, you've got pets all around you.
Oh, yes. I've got 2 sleeping dogs under my feet and 2 cats kind of off in the distance a little bit. I'm hoping as long as I'm still, they don't stir. And but if you see a tail, then just mind your business.
Hey, yeah. Well, I am watching my turtle on a video right now, just making sure they're okay out there. We've built a nice little outdoor habitat that Sam is loving, and right now I can't even see Sam, so Sam definitely is hiding in one of those little places. But anyways, and I've created a really cute little Instagram for them, for my pets. It's for Lucy and Sam. For those of you that really, really love me and want to follow their little adventure, please make sure to follow Shell and Tail. Yes, A-N is in the middle, not Ann. So Shell and Tail. Isn't that cute? Mm-hmm.
It is cute.
So, hey, I just promoted my pets. So proud of them. Okay. Well, let's just get on into this because this is I really enjoyed this story. I hadn't read it for a very long time. It had really been a minute. So I was trying to even I knew the gist of it, but I couldn't remember and I real quickly read it and I really liked it. First off, what were your thoughts? Just did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I think I had looked at it before. You told me to go and look at it. So just rereading it again, thinking about the Darkling's arc where we talk about he's likable, he's not likable, he's human, he's monster. I think this definitely helps the human side of the Darkling.
Agreed. I think it's just very different. Him as a child, he's just, he's a kid. But I also love that, that's where obviously I got my name from, the spelling of it, right in the beginning. And yeah, I thought it was so clever.
Yeah, he's only 13. So.
Is that what they say? Is that what
it's
okay.
He's only 13. So to think about, instead of the Darkling being these thousands of years old, like he is when we're reading through the series, he's only 13. So he's this completely innocent child at this point.
And it's written that way. I think Lee did a really good job of making sure, like, I mean, we didn't have, like, there weren't any glimpses of the character that we're used to reading about. Just the way, like, how he's always mentioned, just the way he acts, and we can always tell. And it's just like, this is really just like a naive, like, not naive, but an innocent child, and just learning about himself. And I think it's really cool that, I mean, also Bagra, she's like gorgeous. I love that they made that a point, that she's really young and beautiful. And it's a very interesting story, especially like, I wonder what, like, I mean, as you said, it's like 13. So we get a glimpse of the Grishaverse world, what it was like then. We just don't know when that was exactly, but a long time
A
ago.
really long time ago. And they talk about speaking Fjorden and Ravkan. So they're somewhere in Fjorda area, but they're with a bunch of other Grisha. So they speak mainly Ravkan. But yeah, I mean Bagra, it shows her being way more maternal as well in this
Hmm.
story. Like she's actually sweet
Yeah,
and like this loving mother.
protective, very
Hmm.
protective. And that's also, when you were bringing up Fjorda, it actually made me just realize, like, we also, in this story, they touch on the fact that the Druskella are just now, like, becoming like a force. Like, I mean, they're just like, it's a new group. And that's interesting to think about.
Yeah, the little girl Ariana,
Yeah, works for me.
um, her father was killed by the Druskella, and somebody says something about calling uh, Bagra a witch, and she's like, "No, you can't say that unless you've been in the situation that I've been in."
Yeah.
So, so the Druskella, they've been around for a really long time.
Yeah, it's also really interesting and neat to read this and know that we are going to get more of this in October, like the graphic novel. Isn't that October? Am I right? Is that the
I
date?
think so, yeah.
I
Oh,
think
and
it.
it's Annika. I don't know why
Hanukkah.
I was thinking, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go, girl. I wouldn't have known.
Oh.
This is a neat story, though. I think it's also like, I think we did a really good job in timing it out and like actually making this the last story, to be honest, because we've read a lot about the Darkling, and he appears randomly in places that you wouldn't even think. Like, I mean, the very last story we just finished, in Language of Thorns, that was like a surprise. And this is just, it's neat. I think it's a really cool little. I don't know. She wrote it back in like 2014, I think, is when it came out. Because it was in the back of Ruin and Rising.
Hmm.
So
And some of them.
yeah, exactly. You're right. In some of them,
Hmm.
because not all of them. And
What I think is interesting about this one is a lot of what we talked about in the trilogy, the first trilogy, was his ability to manipulate young girls. And even Bagra says he has a long history of doing this. And in this story, it happens to him. This
yeah,
little girl manipulates him. So this is a completely different thing. And I wonder if that kind of sets the tone for the rest of his life of like, I just got screwed over by
hmm,
this girl. So that's never going to happen again. I'm going to be in charge now.
yeah, I definitely could see it. I mean, because I mean, as I said earlier, like, I mean, this little kid doesn't even remotely make me think of, oh, this is little Darkling. Like, he's really naive. Like, I'm not. Yeah, he's just really. He almost seems sweet, you know. Um,
Yeah, because I mean, he's never been touched by anybody. Because Bagra for his entire life has said, don't let them touch you because he's an amplifier. So when they have to keep moving around from place to place, she's very careful about don't let anyone touch you. Even when he was at the end and he was sick,
yep,
she wouldn't let the Yuli or Yui
yeah,
touch him. So when he gets touched by this girl, it's like this growth in him of, oh my goodness, somebody's not scared of me. And again, like we know now, that was a complete manipulation.
Right. I also love the fact that we really get a big glimpse and more understanding of amplifiers. I know we like learned about them throughout everything in the Grishaverse, but I feel like in this story, it's just like, I feel like it makes more sense. Just because the way it like, I think it's done really well because one, like everybody knows that I guess shadow summoners are rare, but I guess also the fact that they're amplifiers they're even more rare. So
Yeah, it's only in the one family.
yeah, it's great, and I love how we've talked about people like other Grisha with adults would want to kill like kill somebody that's an amplifier, but these are kids like trying to kill one another because
Yeah.
of wanting their power to get bigger, and that's just
Yeah,
crazy.
she like draws him out, like, come swimming with me, and freaking like freezes the lake so that he can't move because he has to have his hands at this point. He's not powerful enough
Right.
yet. So he has to have his hands and it's frozen, so he can't. And like this girl knows what she's doing, which is terrifying.
I know.
And then the bullies come out and he has to say what she's doing so that they'll at least help free him, even if they are wanting to kill him too.
Yep.
At least that they'll kind of help like get away from her.
It's
so
smart. He's really smart.
That was some quick thinking because it's not something he's used to doing, but like telling people, hey, guess what? I'm an amplifier. By the way, hey, how's it going?
I love it.
You might want to kill me. But it's also the cut, as he's getting away from them, he uses his little 13-year-old cut.
He finally, yeah. And because they do, I guess he hadn't mastered it yet. I think it's mentioned a little bit, right? Where like he hasn't really learned how to use the cut correctly or done it yet.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see him, I guess I feel like use it for the first time, and he did a good, it worked.
Went through both of them at the same time.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but that girl, even though she was like barely still alive, and like at the end she was like, I guess she was like bleeding out of her neck, and she was trying to be like, help me, and I was like, no ma'am. You can sit and like drown in your own blood. I don't care how old you are. You just tried to kill another boy with a rock. By the way, you didn't get it done the first time, which is horrible. I'm sorry. If you're gonna don't need to do it like a couple times. Get it.
No, just keep bashing.
God. And
but like if you were in the position that he was in, like you've just done the cut to like two people at once, and you're on the shore of this lake and you're thinking, what am I going to tell people? Is your first thought to like use the cut to chop your leg off?
Absolutely not. No. That just also gives us, I think, so there it is. Those are the little parts that are the Darkling that we know. How a quick thinker and real, there's always, and his mother even like kind of applauds him at the end for being so quick at thinking and like doing that. And it's
So how does he get his leg back though?
So I don't even know, was it his leg that got cut off, or was it just like, I don't even know I know he hurt himself. I don't know what he did exactly. I can't remember.
Well, in the beginning, it says his leg is nearly severed. So
probably
it's not completely cut off.
So a healer probably would help put that back together.
But that would still probably like hurt like yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
That's crazy. But yeah, he blamed it on the village and they killed the entire freaking village because he said that's who did it. And his mom is like, so?
It definitely gives us a little bit of like the history behind why Okazatsia hate Grisha so much. Especially if they're going and like secretly killing an entire village over the fact that they think, just they came after them, but they didn't. Like, I mean, that's a little extreme, I feel. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're trying to they're trying to stay hidden. So I think the last thing you would really want to do is go and like destroy a town. But
Oh, yeah. They said they all are going to have to like go away now. So they're going to have to find another place to be. But I started thinking like as Bagra, she's going to live to be like thousands of years old. So these people that live in a village that are all Okazatsias are only going to live to be, 70. Probably doesn't mean a lot to her.
no, it doesn't. And because that's the way you would just, I guess, get used to your life being just like, because she's still in her youth at like, I don't even know how, she's probably hundreds of years old in looking gorgeous doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that wouldn't really matter. I think it's interesting that like they just, because that's just them being an amplifier. That's just a trait of being an amplifier. Is that right? I mean, like, or is
Of
that
being
just
beautiful?
No, like being able to be that old, like living that long.
Oh.
Like, I don't think we've really ever gotten a like explanation on how they. I mean, I know Grisha can. I feel like they can live longer, but they don't live as long. Like, I don't think at
Yeah,
least.
that was the whole thing with Alina and Mao, that the Darkling was trying to get Alina to understand and to move away from Mao, is that you're going to live forever and he's going to die. And then with like Zoya and Nikolai, there's going to be a difference there as well, especially with how powerful Zoya is now. So I think the more powerful the Grisha is, the longer they live.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it's Grisha in general. That's okay. That totally.
But like their family, the Darkling's family, are like the most powerful Grisha, so they live forever.
Yeah, they do, and we just have to remember like his family. And I keep on now thinking about Ula and like they're actually because they're not brother and sister. They're actually half brother and sister because they've got the same mother but different fathers. I would like, and that's the thing that's also entered in here is we get to like we don't know who his like dad is, but don't you want to? I would love to know who his father actually was.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that'll come up at some point. I also would like to have a timeline. I would love to have a timeline.
Yeah, we don't. There's no even time to like base it off of. It's I think the only thing we've ever that's kind of helped me is just there was a part, I think it was in one of the, it was either Rule of Wolves or King of Scars, where they mention how it was the monks at the begin, like how Ravka was created. Like that, I feel like that and the making it the heart of the world. It's not really like specified too much on time, but like that's how, I don't know. Timelines are definitely, I don't even know. Remember, Kaz's watch doesn't even like look right on the show.
Yeah.
So their time is totally interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily need like years. I know that would be different anyway, but just like, the chain of events, this happened here and this happened here, would be super helpful.
Absolutely. I think it's also really cool that we do like, we know, like, he's lit when we meet him in Shadow and Bone and we find like he's lived for so long and been through countless kings. And it's interesting how also this ends with that line of already planting that seed of him making a home for Grisha. I love that that starts like right at the end of this because that's really cool, especially since he's so young.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have had to basically sever his leg if there was a safe place for them.
Absolutely. That's so crazy. It's so neat. I can't wait to see what the graphic novel looks like anyway. Like that's going to be incredible. And while I was actually looking for the audio version of this, which by the way I couldn't find. I thought there was an audible version of the story, but I couldn't find it. However, there is one for the graphic novel coming out. Isn't that interesting? It's already like on it, you can pre-order it. But a graphic novel is very like it's not going to that's going to be very different than this, right? I mean, cuz that's going to
Yeah,
be
I'm interested to see how they'll do it. I don't know if you've seen the one they did for Outlander,
oh
called
no.
The Exile. I'll have to bring that one to you on Saturday so you can see it. Like that's the only graphic novel I have in my possession or that I've ever really read. Um, so that's the only, base that I have of what this
Hmm.
one's going to be, and it's kind of more in like a comic book type style. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to do this one.
That's exactly what I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's just going to be like I mean, it is a comic book. I mean, that's what a graphic novel is, just a fancy way of saying I feel like like I mean, it's very like I love them because I mean there's so much art and that goes into it, and it's really neat because they're not going to be they're going to be telling the story through pictures, and also it's just like people saying things. Like I mean, it's all those little air bubbles. So,
Yeah, it's interesting too because the one for Outlander was done way before they were going to do the show, but now
oh,
this graphic novel is now done after the show where you already have the visuals. So are
huh.
they going to go with like what we've seen on the show, or are they going to go with what Lee's original visions were?
So we have to remember when we talked to Erin Stein, she told us that like they had started that while she was still working for them. So that process started before the show came out.
But the actors were already.
Correct. Yeah. They could you're right. I mean, they might like at least base well, I mean, but he's going to be younger, so we might maybe like I mean, make him look like a younger Ben Barnes possibly. Um Oh, I'm excited. I hope we get more backstory of Bagra. We probably will. I mean, we've got to like.
Oh yeah, this has to be a longer. It has to be longer than this.
Oh, it will, and there's gonna be so much more to it, and I actually see where they can. I think it's kind of neat because it's a really well put together story. It's like it's not too long, but it's like it's a perfect short story, but there's so much like potential to expand the world and to teach us more. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more like little surprises in there for us. Um, mm, how
Yeah, it's going to be
exciting!
exciting.
I know. So once it comes out, we'll definitely obviously be doing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna do that though. However, I mean, might just be another like one episode. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out. We'll figure it out then. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we've like fully discussed what we're doing next, but we can do it
we figure it out as we
right
go,
after
girl.
that.
We've got some things up our sleeve. Real quickly before we end, was the title ever in this book, "The Demon in the Wood," or is that? I mean, I feel like I get it.
Like,
I was just one like I mean is it like I mean I guess I was expecting the title to be in the story somewhere because I mean or is it literally just saying like I mean I mean the shadow like I mean he's the demon obviously in the wood or
oh yeah, I don't think they actually said the demon in the wood like in this short story.
no. And I mean it does take place in the wood, so obviously I was just what I was make pretty much I
Does,
just
but he's not really a demon at this
no.
point. So
And the word demon always makes me think of Kaz, just because people called him like demon. So,
Maybe Annika was the
ooh,
demon.
I like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. Oh, and before, and also, I do love how little Darkling to mess with the boys, like create shadows that just stay over their heads, and they can't like see where they're going and run into trees. Love that.
Yeah, he just like blinds them. And they're like crying and like reaching out.
Oh, that's so
I
funny.
can totally see that, especially in some like early 90s camping movie, like Beverly Hills.
Oh my God, yeah.
The Beverly Hills Troopers, where they're like Girl Scouts in Beverly Hills, or like the Parent Trap.
I was gonna say Parent Trap. Yes, definitely.
I can totally see that story in one of those movies.
Girl, we got another little commercial, except that's gonna be longer. We're gonna make like a little mini movie of Parent Trap, Darkling story, Demon in the Wood combination. It could be really cute. So
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I think that was a fantastic story. I really, really loved it. I'm really excited that we waited till the end to do that, to be honest. We didn't even plan that.
Yeah, I wonder what it would do if you read that first before you started the entire series. I don't know. Like
wouldn't
maybe that would
ruin anything.
change your perspective of him.
The only thing it would do is, well, you would know that the Darkling was, you wouldn't have that surprise where some people do in the beginning of Shadow and Bone, that you think the Darkling's actually a good guy for a very short period of time.
Right.
However, that would be the only thing. There's nothing else that it ruins. You find out Bagra's well, they never said the name though. So
Oh, that's true.
yeah, they never called her Bagra. So you would just think she's just she's definitely,
she was smart.
yeah.
Lee was smart.
They're a smart family. They
Lee, by like not putting certain things in there so that it wouldn't completely
ruin
surprise somebody if they happen to come across the prequel first.
You know what's also interesting about this is that, like, you brought it up in the beginning, but the devotion and love that she has for him, and think about that compared to like when we meet her, and like how she's pretty much like realized that her son is evil. And I mean,
and he's so mean to her, like what he does to her throughout the series.
yeah,
or like blinds her.
Mm-hmm. And then she
like sends her off a cliff.
Yep. And she kills herself like to like save the people he was against. But I also think she always said like she was trying to do the best for him. But I think like, yeah, their vision of that, like, it's so weird. I love their relationship. I just wish we knew more. There's so many like missing pieces, but Lee left it that way on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, like where everything went wrong. We don't have that.
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, what was that? I mean,
what was the turning point?
And I want to know who the father is.
Well, I mean, he has to be somebody powerful, I would think.
I know. So, I mean, we need a Grishaverse Ancestry.com kit and send that. Get the Darkling.
He definitely, well, I don't know. I was going to say he definitely had to be a Grisha, but he could have been an Okazatsuya because Bagra is powerful herself. So
she is. What would be interesting is if, like, I mean, we wouldn't know. What if the father wasn't an amplifier? Like, I mean, what if that was just on her side of the like tree?
I don't think he could have been. I think because it's just her line. So if she got together with another amplifier, that would be like incest.
Yeah, they would. What would they do? They would. I also do think it's neat that like one touch of like touching an amplifier, just like one little touch, like all of a sudden you know. Which is it's just crazy. I can't believe the little girl. She's so like, dang.
So manipulative.
I know, but I think you're onto something, and that definitely would start, I think his like journey into being the person that he become, the Grisha that we all love to hate and love.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm going to be the manipulator. I won't be manipulated.
No. Mm-mm. And I'm guessing Alexander is the name that she calls that. Like, I mean, they're talking about his real name that's tattooed on his heart.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah,
So,
I'm assuming that's his real name.
yeah. However, I do love it's Eric though. Come on.
Yeah, that whole list of names he had, it was like
Oh,
Isif.
okay, so actually, what was the deal with like it was Eric, like when the name that he actually took was something and then Eric. It was like a first and then like
Well, it was like a I don't know why I have that.
Arkady, Arkady, period.
Arkady or Arkady.
Like what?
Yeah,
I'm Arkady
Arkady.
or Eric. Let's see, which one sounds better? Arkady? I'm sorry.
I don't. One of those, I think, because she said you need a Southern name because they're going to be from the South,
right?
So it's a foreign name to the Fjordans and the Rothkins.
Yeah, Eric.
And then they're like, oh, just call me Eric.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get Eric from, Arkady, but
I don't either. But hey.
But whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed the list of names that he had been called before.
Yeah. So it's fun. I really am looking forward to our review of the graphic novel and to see how it's different and see how it changed and grew. Hopefully we just get more Bagra stuff. I just want some more of that. So
yeah, I need more of their like relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because something happened in there.
Something went wrong somewhere because I mean he's definitely rude.
Yeah, that's a far cry from from what we know.
Yeah, because she is she'll do everything to protect him. She says at the end of it, and it's like, oh wow, okay.
And I think she still does in the series, but he's not having it. Like I think she is still trying to protect him. But he's not having it because he's got a vision.
Yeah, and I think she also just like, I mean, I think she has the same vision that he does, which is trying to like help Grisha. And when she starts to see him going off and just like a really like, it's just a very it's not warlike, but it's just when you just it's like tunnel vision just on the prize where it's like it doesn't matter what the consequences are. He's not caring about that. He's just like he sees because he had like I mean we have to realize like I mean I think if you really look at everything he did, he always was putting Grisha first. He was always trying to help them, even though some of his tactics were like questionable. It's still like I feel like you can still see how he was just trying to help in a very interesting way.
In his own way, like what he thought was the best way. And he just needed to get there and everything else was just collateral damage.
Yeah, you've got to think also, like, if he's thousands of years old, like, I mean, just like, I mean, when he clears out Novosibirsk, like, this huge scene that, like, I mean, and in the show, that's really not that big of a deal to him. I mean, just, like, killing an entire, like, half of a city. Like, I mean, everybody else freaks out, and he's like, whatever, half a century, you guys will be over it. So, well, I'm glad we got to discuss it, and
yes,
I'm glad we don't have any more. There's nothing I can actually spoil now. I can talk about everything
until we get to the next little bit.
Yes, correct. So, well, that was fantastic. It's so weird, to be honest, to know that we just finished everything. Well, yeah, we will. Don't worry. We still have stuff to cover. We will be getting into Ninth House, and we are excited about that. We're just not doing it right away. We're gonna just give us a little bit of a break, just a couple weeks. But anyways, we'll be getting into that very soon. However, next week we will be having our Pride episode, or Grishaverse Pride. It's gonna be a fun little discussion about everything that LGBT queer that's in the Grishaverse, and Lee did a fantastic job with that, anyways. And I think her journey with where it started to where it ended is an incredible journey, an incredible story too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, well, I don't think there's any GrishaCast news, but yeah, we will be back next week, and we love you all. We'll see you all next week. Long live the Grishaverse.
Like, we're at the end of the hour, so my voice is a little husky. A+.
No mourners.
No funerals.
This has been GrishaCast. Connect with us on the web at GrishaCast.com. Send an email to info@GrishaCast.com.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at GrishaCast.
And thank you to our amazing staff, Chris, Alex, Michelle, Sid, and Chloe.